Going live at 5.
Going live.
Are we live?
Hey, we're live.
Say my name, say my name. When is
Round
around
you.
you. Say, baby,
Love you.
if. Wait, I forgot the rest of it.
No, that's okay. Hey, guys, what's up?
Welcome back to the Chefpreneur
Just
Show.
got to keep you on your toes and keep it interesting and
Having fun. Having fun.
You know, because we'll probably bring up some things today that, we're going to keep it fun. We're going to keep it all fun today. No doom and gloom, all truth, no lies. That's what we do. So welcome back to another live show, Chefpreneur, with your host, Chef Andres Inosa.
How you guys doing? And my co-host, Brock Wagner. How you doing?
Brock Wagner. If some of you ever want to know,
it's at Brock Wagner.
I have been asked. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Brock Wagner. Because it's Brock.
I like that. I like that. And if this is your first time, guys, tuning into the show, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here to talk all things chefpreneur. What is a chefpreneur and what is the chefpreneur movement? We want to help you as a passionate chef or cook on building and starting, growing, running a successful and profitable personal chef business. Welcome back to another live show. We're excited. I have a topic that I'm going to be discussing today that I'm excited to share with you guys and really just kind of give you guys different perspectives on business in general, but also just a little bit of a mindset shift, as we always do on this show. And I'm just excited to bring it to you. But Brock, just give us a little rundown. Like, how's your week been, man? How you been?
I've had a pretty good week. Coaching soccer.
Coaching
first time coaching soccer. I'm learning the game as I'm coaching the game. So I'm right there with my son, trying to figure it out, trying to be the best coach I can be. And let me tell you guys, we coach, but we coach adults. But what's funny is that it's a little different coaching kids. It's a little more chaotic,
but kind of not
really different.
Yeah.
All of us are just big kids. That's it. We're just oversized children. And so when we get coached, like sometimes things are going in one ear and out the other. They're getting confused, or, you just have to be really, really clear. Like you cannot mince words. You cannot be ambiguous on what you're trying to say. You got to be clear, direct, and you got to use simple words, very simple words, which is something that we've learned over the years.
Oh, man, we've learned that
with our marketing, with our messaging. And that's what we try to teach you guys as well, because we've learned that if you're not clear and you're not using simple words and you're trying to get all fancy with it and using the restaurant lingo, that chef lingo, your clients don't have a clue. Like they just want to know, you cook food. There's a word for you. It's food.
It's food.
Yes, there's lots of ways that you can describe that food. Leave that for when you're there with them and they've already paid you and they booked you. Don't fancy it up on the website. Don't fancy it up in your messaging, because these people are like, wait, what do you do? Like, do you cook food or do you invent flavors?
No, this is actually a true story. I had when I first started my business. I went to do the 5-second rule, where it's like you open your website and you ask somebody random like what it is that you do, just to make sure your website's on point.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady literally said, "So you China?" Like, she thought I sold dishes.
Yeah, dishes. It's a good one.
I'm like, what? How did you get that out of? But again, on my website, I had a beautiful plate of food. And so she thought, and it said something with excellence and something else. And I'm just like, oh boy, this is bad. But it's true. Yeah. That's literally what happens, is you don't realize that you're advertising and you're not really advertising. You think that you are, but you're really not. And that's unfortunately, that's just very true of a lot of your guys' stuff. But yeah, you have to be very clear and concise, and assumptions just kill. I tell everybody never to assume anything.
Nope.
Almost the only thing that you can assume is that they don't know anything. Like, that sounds really mean, but it's literally.
But if you approach that, then you break it down, everything to its simplest, most basic concepts.
Yes.
And that way you can just make sure that you're really clear. Again, leave all that poeticness aside, because it's not going to do anything for you.
We just always want to be poetic, and it sounds nice to be poetic, but then nobody even understands what the frick you're saying.
Yeah.
Except for you. you understand
Yep.
what you're saying.
Or other chefs,
Or other chefs.
right? But who are you
Correct.
serving? Are you serving other chefs, or are you serving just
you
clients,
should
just people,
be
regular
serving your
people?
clients, but again, we're saying
That's a good word right there. Like you're serving your clients, okay? You're serving them with food. You're serving them every step of the way. You are serving your client. So with your website, who are you serving? Your client.
your client.
With your emails, who are you serving? Your client.
Your client.
With your social media posts, who are you serving?
Your client.
Your client. So everything should be coming from the perspective and the view of your client.
Your client.
Very simple.
That's good.
Okay. Hey, we're done.
We're done. That's it.
That's today's show.
Show's gone.
There you go.
Joking.
Knock that one off your list.
Now, Brock, I have a question to ask you. Look at your outfit today. It's a little non-chefpreneur. You look kind of like, I mean, you look nice.
Oh,
okay,
you.
You're dressed nice. You get the loafers on, but you kind of look like you're going out on a sailboat today.
Yeah.
Are you?
No.
Oh. Well, I was just like, I don't know. I just, you know, he had kind of the slick back hair.
You never know.
Open,
you never know.
You know, just kind of the whole feel. I don't know if it's like a little bit of Miami mixed a little bit of like Jersey mixed with a little bit of something. I can see that. I don't know what it is. I was just kind of like, okay, all right.
Caught your attention, didn't I?
Cool. You did. I'm not gonna lie. You did. I caught.
There you go. Presentation. Okay.
I got caught up with your shenanigans, basically. So, but yeah,
dress to impress. Dress. Make yourself feel dress nice. Dress good. 95% of the time now, I'm wearing Chefpreneur shirts, just like every day. Sometimes you got to change it up.
That's what I do. Yeah.
And you never know who you're going to meet. And the weather is so up and down. Like I thought to myself today, you know, I'm going to dress for warm weather because that's what I want to attract. I want to attract that warm weather, the consistency. Now we're back down into like 60 degrees. Oh, the weather doesn't know what it wants to do. I know what I want it to do though. So putting it out there.
Yeah, it's really nice. The weather today is nice. My wife was a little cold today, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
It's nice.
It is.
It's nice.
Very nice.
We can keep saying that, or we can get into today's topic.
That's true.
And I'm looking forward to it because you have a good topic today. And I really feel like I have just one point. So I'm just going to be very choosy about when I
kind of
insert my one point.
Well, thank you. Well, you know,
I just have one focal point today to keep it simple.
Yeah, let's jump right in the show. First of all,
let's get into it. Let's say hi to some people.
Yeah, Jordan. Shout out to Jordan. Happy Wednesday to you, my friend, as well. I don't know who else is watching. You guys can comment here in the live chat. We want to make sure we see you.
I'm gonna pop that out.
Comment and say, hey, let's see who's all in this live chat.
Or don't. We're gonna keep talking anyway.
We'll have a number that'll be posted as well as we go through the hey Chef Matt, how you doing? Michael, how you doing? Awesome. We got some people on. We're gonna be posting our phone number so you guys can call in and ask a question today on the show here. But today what I wanted to really discuss was investing. And not with, hey, we got cooking and grilling with Kari. What's up, fellas? My first time on with you.
Carl?
Carl. My bad. Carl. I thought it was a 9. My bad. Carl, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Hello, boys. My wife. Hello, Chef Eric Hudson. Chef Austin, how you doing, brother? Yeah, I was just had a great call with Austin today, so we're excited. Nice. I'm going to talk with him tomorrow. Cool. Chef Magdalise, look at this. We have a great group of chefs on today. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about investing today. And no, we're not talking about the stock market or investing in bonds or anything like that. You know, I wanted to really think about just in investing as a, I know it sounds weird, but like as a mindset of there's so much in this world that we're bombarded with when it comes to, you know, we live in a society where it's buy. And we get so caught up with materialistic things. And, you know, we're all somewhat guilty of that, some more than others. I mean, but there's a difference when it comes down to investing and investments. We talked a little bit about on the program before about skill sets, things that you learn that no one can take away from you. And, you know, I was really meditated on that. I really started thinking to myself. And last week, when I did the show, I actually wasn't feeling that well. And I've been, again, for those of you guys that are brand new, you know, we get personal on the show. We We like to talk about things and be open, obviously, and be very transparent. Um, and I've been battling with weight. I'm definitely now on the right track. I was feeling really frustrated, and really it started to really get me to understand that, like, I've invested very heavily my time and my finances into, our business. And those are great things. And also it just really, but it also gave me an eye opening to how much I need to invest in my health. And again, I was saying this on our coaching call actually last week a little bit as well. There's no perfect balance. I don't think there's ever a perfect balance in life on what really, like, you can never say, here's my time and I'm going to split it up in 8 sectors of my life: social, family, business, whatever. Like, I'm going to compartmentalize a perfect time, and it's like everybody gets a perfect amount, every piece of my life gets a perfect amount. It doesn't exist, in my opinion. And the reason is because there's always going to be peaks and valleys of every part of our journey and every part of our life. But also there's seasons too. Um and there's times where you're going to be very heavily invested financially and time wise in your business, in building something great. But then there's going to be times where you're investing more heavily on your health or different things, or maybe it's your social life, maybe it's your relationship, whatever that case may be. Definitely your faith, things like that. I just found that, like, I just wanted to really bring up kind of the topic of investment, because I think so many of us think, and we automatically just put it into a money perspective. We think that investment is just money. What's really funny is that investing with money is obviously very crucial. It's a very important thing. And I really want to even open it up for discussion today, Brock, and even with all of you, like, as well, about what investment means. Again, even with money, right? It's a very it's a different mindset per se, because again, people equate into, like, oh, I have to be a savvy investor, and really that's not the case. Sometimes it's as simple as you're investing in something, just even a little bit of your time, a little bit of your finances, again, to learn something new, right? A new skill. Or you look at the grand scheme of things, and when we do that, I think that we often find that there's a lot out there to invest in that will actually reap a huge reward to you in your life, but we don't think of it that way. And again, even financially, just speaking very, very straightforwardly, like, a lot of us think, okay, if I'm going to invest in my business and I'm going to invest in XYZ, and it's 5, 10, $15,000, whatever the case might be. A lot of times we don't prioritize it. I guess what I'm getting at, we don't prioritize. This is something, again, I was thinking about, because I've been through, like, I feel like I'm going through this in my health, but also I've been there financially. It's like, at that moment, sometimes those investment numbers might seem like a mountain, like 5, 10, 15,000, 20, 30,000, whatever it would be. We think of it as this massive mountain, but we don't realize the massive impact in the future that investment is going to have. And I think we do it related to where we are right now, right here today, in position. What's funny is, and maybe I'll get a little bit of some feedback from all of you if you're able to kind of, like, be in the chat. Like I said, we have some people that have already, messaged in. But let me ask you this question, like, who here would have let me ask you this. Who here would have invested $5,000 into Tesla Corporation? Let's say if the stock was worth $1 and you own 5,000 shares. Now, what's funny is, first of all, if you put in the chat, everybody would say that. Everybody would say, I would have. Like, I mean, I think you'd be not very financially intelligent if you said, I wouldn't have done that. I mean, you would be making a killing financially. What's funny is you say that now after the fact. You wouldn't have said that maybe if the offer was presented to you at the time and you're like, this is the last $5,000 that I have. Now, I understand there's risk, there's different things that you maybe can't see, but this is also leading into investing is always for the future. It's something that is not here yet arrived. And you have, when you start looking at things like that, I also think that, again, this is just my own opinion. Why, and I'm not saying that if anybody who does invest in the stock market or mutual funds, I'm not saying that that's bad. I mean, those are vehicles to make money, whatever. I've never done it. And I think because I'm I'm not risk averse by any stretch of imagination. I'm a chefpreneur and I think I'm kind of numb to risk. I just don't, I'm not comfortable with it. A, I don't know it, right? Very well. That's number one. But B, I feel like I want to invest something that's a little bit more in my control. And so when I started thinking about this, it's like, well, my health is in my control. My business, quote unquote, is in my control if you own your own business. And so it's like, if I invest, I want to be able to squeeze out as much investment of that as possible. Otherwise, I feel like it's almost gambling. And so I'm trying to maybe shift your mindset on like what I would invest financially into is skills, but then not only skills, but even information, even things like, for instance, if you invest in a health coach that's going to teach you ways on how to eat better and live better, that is going to reap, it's not going to even reap, well, it technically, again, it actually can reap financial rewards, because if you have more energy, if you have more health, if you have more stamina, I mean, all those things can kind of come back together. But let's think about it this way. If you think about it and you're investing in something that, again, is going to give you health and you're going to feel better, I mean, how much is that worth to you? What's the value on that, right? As far as investments go as well, financially, well, if you invest in something, you want that rate of return. But again, it's like you have to, again, I like to invest in myself, things that I can like a new skill I learn that's going to reap rewards that no one can take away from me. And so for me, it was kind of a mindset shift, especially right now with my health. It's like I need to invest more time with it. Am I investing tons of time? No, but I'm starting out to where I'm I'm learning how to not work as much as like there's some things that I know are like, okay, I could do that tomorrow morning. Like instead of like, oh, it's 6 o'clock, let me still keep pounding the pavement. There's things that I'm learning on like, okay, in the morning, should I, I need to, should eat a good breakfast or try to eat a good breakfast. Obviously, do my prayers, speak with the Lord, do my thing, and not just automatically, oh, I don't have the time. Well, number one, I'll tell you guys a real story about this last week. I was having, like I said, last Wednesday, I wasn't actually feeling very good. And I pretty much found out that, well, my wife took a video of me a few months back, and I was pretty much stopped breathing when I fell asleep on the couch. And I've been struggling really bad to get proper rest for probably the last 3 to 6 months, but the last couple of months have been really bad. I was falling asleep at church. I was falling asleep in front of the computer sometimes at 11. I mean, I was drained, and I put a lot into Chefpreneur and what I love to do and coaching and all that. And so I'm not shy of work, but I wasn't getting rest. I mean, and little did I know, which I pretty much had probably sleep apnea or severe case. And I got a CPAP machine last Wednesday. It's just changed my life. Like I feel a million times better. I'm getting more rest. I'm getting more sleep. I feel more energized. Um, Not only that, though, then I started thinking to myself, okay, if I invest more into my health as well, like again, what is that going to do for my, not only my emotional health, my spiritual health, my physical health, but also my financial health and all other aspects. So I'm starting to realize like our whole being should be, we should invest in that. We say it all the time as chefpreneur, like community is so important. Community is so important in our programs. When people invest in our programs, there's a level of community that you get, and doing life alone and doing business alone is very difficult. And without a proper community around you, like with your relationships, it involves, there's so much into that. that there's just so much value in that, aside from the skills and the education, everything that you're getting. But again, I think so much of us, we look at investments. Again, we have this like, and I really believe this is true. A majority of people, when you say the word invest, they think of stocks, bonds, they think of stock markets, blah blah blah, real estate, all that stuff. That is investing. And then when you talk to them about enrolling in a program or investing, in a coach for their health, or it could be like, I mean, as weird as this sounds, it could be investing in date nights with your spouse, with your significant other. It could be investing in a vacation to relax and enjoy yourself and kind of like let your hair down a little bit. Like all these, there's certain things. I mean, I'm not saying all vacations, I'm not saying, okay, yeah, I need to buy a vacation every weekend at the casino or whatever. No. Okay, let's get real. But I'm just saying, like, even on our faith, right? Investing time in reading the word, investing time in being with the Lord every morning, investing, investing in possibly books and different things that'll help strengthen your faith, that'll help get you closer to God and give you more revelation. Like there's always an investment, there's always an ROI. And I started realizing to myself that everything we do is an investment in something good or bad. So I started really looking at it from a different perspective, that instead of buying something, it's not really buying something. It's either making a bad or a good investment, right? According to value and what it provides. Really, when you think about it, everything that you purchase with your time or your finances is a good investment or a bad investment. In fact, when you look at the word of God, where it says, that the tongue gives life and gives death, there's not really a gray area. Really, almost every single word it's either basically building God's kingdom or it's not, when you really think about it. So I started thinking and putting that perspective on investing, like everything you invest in is either a good investment or a bad investment. Okay. If you're hawking down a couple Twinkies, you're like, oh, it's a good investment because it's making me happy, but it's probably not the best investment for your health. So there's different sides of it. Yes. But it really comes down to that anyway. And it's not about being perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I started really thinking to myself, okay, if I could take baby steps into investing in my health, setting time aside, still having the workload, but trying to balance the workload a little bit more to be leaning towards, because it's opened my eyes up. And of course, we all know this. People have said it to me for years, and I'm just speaking for myself. Man, like you're only one of you. You have to invest in your health. You have to invest in yourself. Like we need you around, like you want to be here a long time. And it also is very true. And I know it's been true, but it's really just struck me this last Wednesday. I think I just really got a wake up call from God and saying like, and here's the thing too, though, is like, now I'm on a journey of, I don't want to just jump in and rush into everything. It's okay to build it right. Like I want to do it right. So I'm trying to develop a lifestyle of that. First of all, I think I'm down like 5 pounds already. And it's not even, I am being mindful of what I eat, but I was gaining weight before the sleep. I think now the sleep has really helped me, because I was literally like exhausted, not getting any sleep. I think I was just not getting any sleep at all. And I was getting frustrated because I was gaining weight. I'm like, man, I'm counting my calories. I'm doing okay. I'm walking up these freaking hills, getting my heart rate up, and I was doing, decent. And I was like, how am I gaining weight? Like, this is stupid. Like, I'm pissed off, until I was like, oh, maybe it's sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation. Sleep helps a lot. So anyway, but I wanted to bring that to the show today, because I think, again, our mindset so much looks at investing as, again, these other things. But, and again, I think, Brock, you can really speak to this, is investing in yourself. Like, there's one thing I will notice: investing in yourself and learning how to do something, skill sets, investing in things you don't know, people cannot take that away from you. If I invest in a piece of real estate and it burns down, hey, I got insurance, it's great. But like, it can be taken. If I invest in stocks, it can be, it can go down and I can lose it all, right? Or mutual fund, whatever. Like, and there's some sound investments, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit out of your control, other than your decision. And I'm noticing too that in business, we say all the time, me and Brock, that we earn like 2, 3, 4, 5, 16 PhDs a year, because you learn so much. And those are things that we've made some 6-digit investments last year that taught us a lot, sometimes not in the way we wanted to learn, but it taught us nonetheless. And those are things that no one can take from us. Those are experiences and wisdom that no one can take from us, and that causes you to move forward. Um, and so I just wanted to, for those of you that are there, maybe there's certain things that you're looking at investing in. Maybe you need to invest more time with people that you want to build relationships for. I know when I was working, and I'm not trying to take the whole show here, Brock, so jump in whenever you want. But when I was working a lot of hours, a lot of hours in the traditional industry, I was young enough to where my health was kind of, I wasn't the best in health, but I was young enough to where a lot of the stuff was like, there was just blemishes, it was covered up by me being in my 20s, things like that. But I felt like I didn't see my kids. I felt like I didn't see my wife. Like I was just always working. I was always gone. I was always working. And although I'm working a lot now with our businesses, but I can go out and give a kiss to my wife anytime I want, to my kids anytime I want. My wife, who's amazing, who's on watching, she's incredible. She homeschools our kids, which is crazy, but like we are kind of self-sustaining in that way, like entrepreneurship, homeschooling. So, spring break is coming next week, I think, for this county. And like our spring break is whenever our spring break, wherever we want, whenever we want it to be, per se. But there's some freedom in that. But it's a very different thing because I'm an entrepreneur. But at the same time, again, it's like, even looking back when I had a job, like I was probably relationship poor. I wasn't going to churches. I was working on Sundays. Again, I wouldn't see my kid. Like I'd leave and they'd be either at, they'd be somewhere or whatever. And I'd get home late and they would be in bed. And, my wife wasn't seeing me very much. Like the time they saw me the most was when they come to work to eat to the hotel. I was like, it's probably the only benefit. They came to be able to eat for free in the restaurant. But it just wasn't, it wasn't where I wanted to be that way. And it took a lot of goal, but I had to leave that. And I went out and I invested in myself when I first started my own business, and I was broke. I lost everything in pretty much the first 6 months. But what it taught me was, man, I just don't want to work for anybody. And again, now I've tasted this freedom. But Brock, what do you want to say that's coming up in your heart about investing in general? Do you have that same notion that I have, where people hear that word? I think majority of people hear that word and they think automatically like investment vehicles, stocks, bonds.
Yeah.
But we've really come to learn a different part of investing, and really more so investing in ourselves in a lot of different areas.
Yeah. I think the word investing is always just notorious with that, because it's used so much in those industries that's just naturally what people think.
Yeah.
Right. I have just a really simple definition for myself of what good investing is versus bad investing, because you're talking about good investing and bad investing. And I have a really simple definition that I use for myself that I feel has done me a world of wonder, because I've made investments. I've made investments, not just the ones you're talking about with like, education and skills and things like that, of course. But I've made those other investments too: mutual funds, stocks, 401k. Like I've done those vehicles of investments as well. So I've had an experience on both, and I've had big gains and I've had big losses. But the thing that I think for me as a definition of good investing versus bad investing is, good investing is always for long-term gain over short-term pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay. So good investing is for long-term gain over short-term pleasure. Whereas bad investing is obviously the opposite.
Yeah.
It's for short-term pleasure. And there's a really cool differentiation between that. Is like, words are important. So why I specifically chose those words, good investing is long-term gain for short-term pleasure, rather than saying like long-term gain versus short-term gain, is the difference between the word gain and pleasure. Gain is not always pleasurable. Pleasure is pleasurable.
It's true.
But it's not always gain. So that's what's really important to me, is good investing means that sometimes you're making that upfront sacrifice in order for the greater gain that might take longer, but you're going to gain something out of it. It doesn't mean it's not going to be necessarily painful, or you're not going to go experience a little bit of fear or doubt or anything like that. But over time, like, it's going to return to you a greater gain. That's why
Yeah.
investing in skill sets, investing in yourself, your knowledge, things that improve you, usually things that improve you or build your character are things that are really, that it's hard. It challenges you. That's how your character is built,
Yeah.
right? There's like a sword or any kind of metalwork. You have to beat the hell out of something in order to make it that really beautiful thing.
I like that.
Whether it's a knife, like
Yeah.
Levi, he's making those knives. They're beautiful knives. Knives that you guys have, it went through a process of getting the crap beat out of it so that it can be formed and shaped into something really beautiful and useful, extremely useful, right? And that's this, we are the same way. God's word tells us that iron sharpens iron,
Yeah.
right? And that we will be tested and our test will become our testimony. Like, all these things, God uses everything that happens to us, the good, especially the bad, to strengthen our character, to teach us resolve, to teach us perseverance, and to ultimately make us better. So
It's good.
if you pursue those short-term pleasures, you you feel, and that's the other thing, is feel versus what's the actual reality. So you feel like you're gaining something, whether it's, hey, buying that new Mercedes, even though you can't afford it. It's like it's pleasurable to you because it's like, hey, now I got this status. Oh, the leather's nice. Like, I'm driving around, people are noticing me. And then after a few months, all of that wears off. Your neighbors don't really give a crap anymore. Your friends don't really care anymore. They got their own things that they're doing. And you're sitting here with this car in the driveway that you're like, how am I going to make next month's payment on? So you went towards that short-term pleasure, whereas that was pleasurable up front, but then the pain comes later.
Mm-hmm.
Good investment means you're going to take that pain up front and make that take that risk. And then over time, it's meant to give you a return. So it's coming back to you and it's taking a little time, but it keeps paying dividends. That's what good investment is.
I like that. Man, I couldn't have said that better. I think that that's a really, really good statement, man. Is good investment is for long, short-term pain, long-term pleasure, or long-term.
That's what's allowed me to do some things. I invested in crypto years ago in 2000. First off, I did it in 2000.
Back before it was kind of
my
thing,
first
right?
investment was in Bitcoin in 2014, I want to say. And I remember I was at the hockey rink of the Buccaneers, which was like an old college hockey game, players in Des Moines, and they would just beat the crap out of each other. It was just such a nasty sport, like college hockey. Like, these guys are all just hormoned out and raged out, taking their anger and frustration out on each other. So it's really good games. And I remember that because I'm like on my phone and I've got the Coinbase app and I'm like, oh, Bitcoin, I've been hearing a lot about this. And you know what, I'm doing okay. I got a little bit of money, I'm going to put a little bit in there, and one Bitcoin was like, what was it? Like I think it was like $200 or $150 at the time. And I'm like, I'm going to buy like one or one and a half or something, and then that month, what happened was, it took off. That was in 2014. It was the point where it really took. So Bitcoin,
like, basically, you were at the valley of the peak.
Well,
in a way,
in Bitcoin, when it first started, it was like 4 cents, 10 cents, and those people made millions of dollars.
I mean, well, from 4 cents to even a 200, you're stacking.
So, but for me, that 150 was like, it was enough to kind of be like, I hope this turns out well. And it was, but it wasn't too much to where if I lost it, I was like wrecked. Right. So I did that. And then a couple weeks into it, it's like, it was going up, $300, $600, $1,000. And I think it hit like, what was it? $1,200 or $1,500. And I'm like, I'm pulling out, like I'm taking it out, and I got worried because I'm like, it's just going to crash. Cause like, it's all trendy, and I'm thinking it's just going to come back down. So I took it out and I took all the Bitcoin out and I, converted it into something else, a little bit, but I bought a digital camera lens for like $400. I like used the gain for like that. Yeah. Short-term pleasure. Okay. and I allowed fear to kind of like be like, I want to take my money now because I wanted the money and all of that.
You're setting me up for my next point, by the way.
But then,
I
yeah,
like it.
so I did that, and then what happened? Like over time, if I gave it enough time, several years
25, it would've been
later,
25K. No,
Bitcoin
wait, didn't go up to
Bitcoin went to 50,
50.
60,000.
That's right. Jesus. Yeah, I forgot that.
I would have had a lot of gain if
Yeah.
I would have just been patient and not greedy and not hungry for that, which because I was of my mindset, I'm like, several $100s is a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas I should have just left it. So I learned my lesson. Round two, I get a second chance. Okay. 2018, I decided, and I was, again, I worked on my skills, my career, I built up a little bit. So I decided to invest in Ethereum, which is a different crypto.
Mhm.
And at that time, uh, it was about a couple $100. I think it was about $215 when I
Mhm.
invested. And I was like, you know what? This time I'm sticking around. I'm sticking around. And I invested, I don't know, a little over $1,000, something like that. So I had several coins, more coins than I did before. And it took, what was it? 2018, 19, 20, I think 21. I think I held on to it like 3 or 4 years. Ethereum went up to, what was it?
4K?
4,000.
Yeah, I think it was 4,000. I think you cashed out at 4,000.
So I cashed
Pretty
out,
much right at 4,000.
and I'm not shy to say it, like I had like $18,000 profit
Oh yeah.
off of that. It was a lot of money, but I held on to it, and I did get out again, but I
Mhm.
got out for a different reason, to take that money and invest in
In our
elsewhere
businesses,
in our
yeah.
business. And I wasn't fearful about that or shy about that, because it's like, this is going to move us forward. This is more gain.
Yeah.
It's going to take longer,
Yeah.
but what those things,
Financially,
what
but
what
more
that did,
importantly, impact wise.
yeah, both the loss in my first experience and then my second experience with the gain taught me very valuable lessons. And that's where I get this definition today,
Mm,
is that now when I look at investing, I look at long term.
yeah.
I look at long
It's good.
term to get that long term gain rather than those short term pleasures. And this right here, the business and everything that we're teaching our students and you guys, is trying to help you have that shift as well, without necessarily going through those valleys that we did
Yeah.
to learn these lessons. And it's exciting. And when you do the long-term gain, you have to fall in love with the process and the pain and sometimes the unsureness. And you have to fall in love with that, realizing those are all those things are actually flags to me that I'm moving in the right direction,
Yeah. Yep.
versus the successes
That's
are
good.
not necessarily always the right flags for me. Sometimes it's those, what I think are
Setbacks.
setbacks and
Yep.
things like that. Those are those things that are meant to be overcome, because they're going to sharpen me and they're going to set me up for
I
success
love that.
no matter what comes our way.
And so this is my next point, and you set it up like T-ball for me. Going back to what I was saying about investing, again, there's nothing wrong with investing in vehicles of stocks, mutual funds, crypto, all that stuff. Like, if you listen to Dave Ramsey, he always says, like, invest in something you know. So if you know it, like, and you know how to do it predictably, like, do it, and be wise about it. I personally, like I said, I've learned now I want to invest, and real estate can be part of this, I guess you would say. Like, um, when you talk to some people that are real estate developers, I've been able to cook for a lot of real estate developers, people that have made all their money in real estate. And a lot of them, they say, like, well, not only is it a good vehicle, right? Like, it's just a good, real estate's always been a very, very, very good vehicle to build wealth. But they still say, I don't touch stocks, I don't touch any of that, because I can't touch them. Like, yes, I own a percent of the company, quote unquote, but really, like, you really have no decision making power in the
Well,
business.
Wall Street's just a racket.
It's just a racket, really. It really is. It's a casino. Just, is it going to go up? It's going to go down. Real estate also has ups and downs, but it's tangible. You can take an old home and make it new and sell it for more. I mean, it's tangible, and that's what they would always tell me.
Yeah.
So going back to my point that I was earlier, was I like things that I invest in that I can that are in my control. The way that Brock teed me up on this, and the way that you teed me up on this, Brock, is squeezing all the juice out of the orange. Sometimes, especially with a business, you have this orange and you know that you have this orange, that you have something good, and you might not have all the tools to ream the juice out. I know it sounds like a weird metaphor, but think about this, right? Like, I would rather invest in a business that I'm going to control, that I have power of. I'm buying an orange, or I'm investing in this orange, right? I'm investing in a business for myself. I might not have all the tools to yet peel the orange, to juice it as best as possible. I might try my best. I'm trying to peel off the peel. I'm trying to juice it with my hand. You go in and you just keep investing, right? I invest now in like a reamer or a juicer or a press or whatever. The thing that you have to understand is it's in your control. And a lot of you, if you do have a business and you're listening to the show, you guys are on live with us, so you have a business, I always like to say double down on your business, to be honest, or learn what you're missing. If it's not working, learn what you're missing, because you have an orange already, but you need a juicer. You need something that is going to move you forward. And we found out in our company and our businesses that, like, there's things that you don't know. And you have something great. Like, we know God has given us these companies to steward. And you think to yourself, like, man, and you constantly are learning, but that's what I love. I love to invest in something that I know that today or tomorrow I can make a different decision to move something forward and squeeze more juice out of it. And so you might have a brand already. You might be listening to this and be discouraged and say, I've been at this for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I will say, unless you're legitimately selling, like, popsicles to people that live in Antarctica or something ridiculous like that, right? Like, it's just a really bad business idea. But if you're talking about like a personal chef business, or you have, like, I mean, we'll just speak for personal chef businesses, to be honest. That's what we are on the show about. This is the best vehicle and opportunity for anybody who's passionate about cooking, serving, professional chef, home cook, whatever, to get into the food business. Invest in that. And honestly, on a macro scale, it's going to reap a huge reward. Now, yes, there's going to be time and effort associated, but again, that's part of you learning how to squeeze that orange. For me, the thing is now I notice, I mean, I was talking to Jermaine last night in our group, Brock, from church, and he was telling me about his business idea. Completely, of course, has nothing to do with what we, are in business with. But just because the fact that we know principles even now, I was able to still give him advice. And he's like, man, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about it. And you're just like, who are you? And I'm like, dude, like, this is called PhD in doing business. Like, you learn so much. You have to understand. And it's through our investments that we've learned from other people. We've taken shortcuts. We've learned what they know that we don't know, or we've hired people that we even don't have the time to learn everything about and become experts in, to just do the job. Like, I know I'm not a carpenter. If you ask my wife, I am not at all. I'm not gonna say at all handy. I mean, it's not like I can't, fix a few things. I mean, when I say fix, I mean like hang pictures on the wall. But that's just not my forte, right? I'm not out underneath my car changing the oil, or I don't know what the knocking sound is on a car, whatever, right? Like, however, I invest or would invest in people to do those things that I don't know how to do. And that's a wise thing, because it gets it done, and it gets it done right. And so when I've started to realize that, and I've been listening to another podcast from, like I was telling you, Brandon and Kaylin Poulin, right? The founders of Lady Boss, and their podcast, they only have 2 episodes out, but their podcast has just really struck me when he said, like, now this is a little bit of a higher level of business than maybe some of you guys are at, which is okay. But I'm just saying, for me, it struck a chord when he's like, don't skimp out on being cheap with investing in people, whether it's people on your team to know how to do something you don't know how to do, whether it's to invest into a consultant, into a coach to get you to a place you need to go. And it's so true. I think we look at it as, oh, we're saving money, but after the fact, again, I'm starting. So I'm going to add on to, I think we need to post your comment in the chat, man.
What's that?
Or your phrase, your statement. I
Oh
think
yeah,
everybody needs to
okay.
take, I think you guys need to like write that down and put it next to your bed or something. I love it. Repeat it for everybody who maybe is hopping on that there wasn't on there.
I'd love to. So you're referencing my definition of good
Yes.
investing versus bad investing. Good investing is investing in things for the long-term gain over the short-term pleasure,
Love it.
whereas bad investing is the opposite.
Love
And
it.
again, I think, and I'll break it down because again, it's those two words. It's important. Gain doesn't always mean pleasure. It can come with pain. Okay, no gain, no pain. But pleasure is always pleasure,
Or no pain, no gain.
and
Right.
and
Yeah.
and pleasure doesn't always mean gain.
Yep.
So
No, I love that. And what I would like to add on and kind of give you guys a take is anytime you're going to invest in something, I'm starting to look at what's the 5-year rule? What's the 10-year rule? Am I going to make the most out of this? Where could I be? What's the possibility of it? And that's what I've been working on. So if you stick to what Brock is defining, I think it's a very easy way to remember. And then also ask yourself that question: if I make this investment, what is the possibility? Is it high? What's the possibility that I'm going to make a big return in 5 years, in 10 years?
So that's interesting too, because that's I was actually looking up a work. Because I'm like, even though we get PhD, sometimes my words elude me. There's investability, like quotient. Quotient is the word, right? Which, if you look at the definition of quotient, it is a result obtained by dividing one quantity by another, or a degree or amount of a specified quality or characteristic. Which, when you're talking about investment or investability quotient, it is what is the quality of that return? How big is that return, like you're saying? And the thing that I think people get confused about is not understanding what the value of the return could possibly be. Okay.
I like that. Yep.
With our business, the reason why you and I have no, at this point, we really have no,
Feeling left in our fingers of
pretty
risk,
much,
of
pretty much
investment.
feeling like as far as when we make investments, it's kind of like we just do it, and it's like it doesn't phase us anymore at this point. We get into some hairy situations when we invest, but it's because, again, that's that pain that sometimes comes because we understand and we're looking at it going, we've charted out our vision, we've looked at our offers, we looked at everything that we're doing with the business, we're looking at the value that we're providing to our students and what they're getting in return. That's a huge part of this. Is it'd be one thing if we were doing this and nobody was having any results. It's another thing when you're doing something for somebody
Yeah.
and they're getting actual tangible results and you can see the difference happening for them. That value is going to come back to us. It doesn't come back to us as fast, but we know that it's going to come back to us. But we're looking at that really big long-term picture. And when we look at Chefpreneur, there's so many things, you guys, that you don't understand that we have plans for that are massive. And we don't even sometimes understand kind of
I don't think we do.
the
to a
largeness of
degree.
it. Sometimes we got people who are even speaking over us going, you guys don't understand. Like,
This is
I know
big.
you guys
Yeah.
are in it
Yeah.
and you know it better, but this is like huge and it's great confirmation. But for us, the quotient is huge. So that's why we have no problems with doing a 6-figure investment into something,
Yeah.
because we understand we're going to learn from that.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing. So, but I also want you guys to understand as well. And this is where I think people get tripped up. And what made a huge difference for me personally, like in my careers and in my life, is that I will invest time and energy in things where other people won't, because they look at it and they go, that's not going to do anything for me. And I'll give you a really simple example. Okay. In my last career, I was in corporate for 8 years in financial technology. Anytime that the office or people from the office would get together and they'd have a little get together at a bar, or there was a dinner, or there was an event happening, I was there and I invested my time. Whereas other people literally right beside me would go, it's it's a lot of work to drive downtown to get to that. And I'm
Mm,
like, I don't care. I don't care if I've got to take a bus. I don't care if I've got to Uber. I don't care if we need to get a babysitter. Like, I will invest in that because even though that's not returning me some kind of money,
mm,
even in those moments, I was looking at it and I was feeling in my gut and in my heart, like, this is going to make a difference because I'm investing in relationship with people. They know me. And that's why sometimes I even dress up,
yeah.
especially in the office. People would always ask that, Brock, you're in support. Like, why aren't you wearing flip flops and shorts and a hoodie? I'm like, well, guess what? The other week when somebody came to the office that was visiting from another state or even sometimes another country, they'd come in and I'd shake their hand and I'd say, I'm Brock Wagner. Nice to meet you. I, manage the sport, whatever it is. They go, oh yeah, I heard about you. And I'm like, what do you mean you heard
You're
about?
like,
Like,
wait a minute.
what did you hear?
What?
They go, well, first off, like, your name, a bit unique, Brock. People make comments about that. Even Steve Warren, the other night at church, like, he's from Australia. Brock, like, that's a very
Brock.
American name, right?
Yeah.
The second thing that they'd always comment is, I heard how you dress. Everybody kind of comments about, like, you look kind of dapper and nice. That was me investing in that because it made people aware of who
Mm,
I was, even though it wasn't returning me right away. Them knowing my name means I'm on the list. Like, something comes up and I'm there, people are going to know who I am. They're going to recognize me. They're going to know my name, which means I have a better chance at opportunities. And that to me made a huge difference. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't look at it that way. And they just look at, well, what's the inconvenience factor for me?
yeah.
I gotta travel, 35 minutes, and I gotta do this, and I gotta be babysitter for the kids. And I'm like, okay, then don't complain when people don't recognize who you are or know about you, or that you didn't invest that time and go to that party and interact with people. Don't complain when you're not up, when you don't get those opportunities handed your way. I'm sorry, but that is the game. That's the truth of life. So with you guys in your business, you need to make those investments in people and relationships, make those phone calls with partnerships, like, make those phone calls with clients, even though you don't feel like you might get a huge return out of that. Trust me, it's coming, but you have to invest that time. And again, that's where people get tripped up a lot. They only look at, can I calculate this on a spreadsheet? I'm sorry, but
Exactly. So basically, what you're saying is the return on investment is always not money. It could be a lot of things, fulfillment, everything else. And that was honestly the point I was going to end on was, again, my health. I'm not trying to get healthier to make more money and have more money. And even in our personal chef business, it's like there's so much fulfillment when I remember going from working a freaking salary job at a hotel with all the freaking BS kitchen politics, the gossip, the nonstop ignorance of a lot of managers on even business, and this guy's just trying to kiss this guy's butt and so forth and so on.
mhm,
And then going out there and being able to literally just go cook for clients and be blessed
yep,
and be fulfilled and bless them. I was, if you even ask my wife, even my first business, the catering and farmers market gig, which I was literally pretty much losing money every time I went out, but my fulfillment level was so high. I mean, I'm out in the sun, San Diego. I got, my family would come visit me at the farmers market. My daughter would help me with pouring lemonade and doing things and, the cash register. Yeah, lose maybe $70 a day and be like, okay, but it was like my fulfillment level was so high. I was
mhm,
so happy. But the financial part is needed as well. Don't get me wrong. The financial part it is needed, but there's so many different ways to calculate the ROI,
right,
right? More time, like you can't buy time. So things that can buy you time, shortcuts. Hey, this person figured it out. I don't have to figure it out, or I don't have to figure it out. I don't know how to do this. Pay someone to do it. It's almost the best investment you could do is anything that saves time. Because again, time I can't go to Walmart and bet here's 10 grand, give me another 5 years of my life. It doesn't work that way. But that was really good, Brock. Like you pretty much again, man, we're on point today with each other
yeah,
because again, that like we think numbers, which again are important. We're not saying numbers are important, but there's more to it. There's the fulfillment side. There's really what it is that you're looking to do, fulfilling
that's right,
and mental health. I mean,
yep,
there's a lot of people that are depressed that they're in a job or they're in something they hate. And honestly, a lot of times they have financial issues. Sometimes they don't, but they might just be, overrun with stress and headache and all types of things that are just related to earning the money.
Yep.
And it's not worth it. And I was going to say, Brock, should we take at least 1 or 2 calls today?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a comment here, text your name and where you're from to 470-410-3290. Again, that's 470-410-3290. Just text your name and where you're from, and we will basically call you, and you will be live right here on the Chefpreneur Show, and you can ask a question. So I'm going to pin that message at the top of the chat. You should see it. It says text your name and where you're. Oh, whoops! I meant to say where you're from. Like where you're from. Can I even edit that?
Well, you're technically text your name and where you are.
You are too. Yeah, that's true. Where you are. That's true. Okay. Well, anyway, you guys my drift.
I'm in my kitchen.
470-410-290. Let's see if anybody is texting right now. Again, this is kind of newer to us, so we're still trying to figure out how you guys can definitely kind of call in. We can put you on hold and all that stuff. We're not, we don't have the mega studio yet. We're working towards that. But again, if you guys have a question that you want, or you want to get on the show live right now, go ahead and text again your name. You don't have to text the question, just your name and where you're from. To again 470-410-3290, and we can answer that. But yeah, I'm glad that we talked about again investing. I think just so much around it, and I hope it really encouraged some of you guys. And again, even when you are in business, sometimes you're thinking, I invested in this, am I taking full advantage of it? Don't also beat yourself up over it. Stuff doesn't happen overnight, and you have to give yourself grace as well. Yeah. But think about here's what I want to explain to you. Think about, let's say you've made an investment in something that you're like, am I taking full advantage? Is this possibly the best thing I could have done? You also have to understand, right? This is very important for you guys to realize. You have to understand that you have to give yourself grace. Nothing is perfect. And it is up to you to make the most out of any investment that you have. However, right, it doesn't happen overnight. And the most important advice I can give you is, where would you be if you did make that investment? Would you be worse off than where you are now? Would you be better off in the sense of like, would you have known more? Would you have gotten closer to what you want and your goal? I think that's sometimes a thing that we don't really think of. Yeah. And so, yeah.
It's funny. I'm trying to put it. It's really hard to put into words because I know that I have that. Maybe I'll work on it. Maybe I'll work on it for next. Kind of just getting my words out there and figuring out how to take my thoughts and make it make sense. With investing, you can literally. It's really strategy. It's really strategy that makes the difference between a good investment and a bad investment as well. And that's the difference that makes it between that gain and that pleasure. Because what's funny is, and I'll use YouTubers again, they're just easy target. You got people like Mr. Beast or Unspeakable. Like there's just some names out there. These are younger kids. I call them kids because they're like in their 20s, and but they will go out and they will buy crazy stuff. Oh yeah. They will buy $1 million worth of balloons and those little weird jelly ball things. They'll fill up their back of their truck with it and everything else. And it's like, they're just frivolous spends, right? They'll buy phones and they'll smash them and they'll have them on wheels and they'll do these games and everything else. And they're frivolous spends. Yeah. But here's the difference. Their strategy with what they do with it. If you notice that the most successful and famous YouTubers, they use every opportunity to push content and to entertain people. So those things that they're buying that are really frivolous spends for any other type of person like us, they use it as an opportunity to use it to gain followers and gain people. Mm-hmm. And then they'll turn around and they have a strategy. So they'll turn around and they'll sell their product. right? So they'll use that, and they're really good about using their time, and they capitalize on that time. And so investments is like, it's just a smart strategy. So you can literally take anything, but it's, again, are you going to take the time and film it? Are you going to invest your time in editing and having a strategy to sell something? So I just thought that was really interesting, because that's
awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of strategy.
they're really smart. They're really smart about it.
Exactly. So we're going to be calling and reaching out to Stephanie from Wisconsin.
Okay.
Stephanie from Wisconsin. Let's get her on the line and see if we can help her out.
We're calling Stephanie. All right. No answer.
No answer.
I didn't want him to have to listen to the call the whole time.
answer.
Stephanie, if you missed our call, let us know, and we'll go ahead and call you right back. Yeah.
Let's we
Anybody
have
else?
one more. Yeah, we have one more here. Josh.
Okay.
This is Josh. And he's in Washington.
Washington State.
Washington State.
Awesome. All right, Josh, we're calling you, my man.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Chef Josh, how you doing, brother?
Really, really well. I'm glad I caught your live show today.
Hey, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're glad you did too. How is it up there in Washington State?
Well, we got an early spring, but I'm sure the rain will return by June.
It rains a lot up there, doesn't it?
No, we get about 16 inches a year. I'm sure Georgia gets quite a bit more.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's right. Because you're not. That's right. You're not quite in the city, right? You're. What part of
we're out on
Washington are you in?
We're in the northwest on the Olympic Peninsula, pretty much as far northwest United States as you could get.
Cool.
And we're in a banana belt. The mountains hold off the rain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. Because I know Seattle just gets tons of rain, right?
Oh, yeah. It's rainy over there.
Well, we're almost just about as far away from you as we can get as possible.
Yeah, unless we were in Miami, Florida. But yeah,
we're a ways away.
Now I saw your question.
All right, so
I saw your question, but why don't you just ask it for everybody to hear?
Yeah, I wanted to know if you could expand on the value of lifetime access when we do invest in ourselves with the Chefpreneur program.
Now, are you
specifically?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are you talking about what that means, or just kind of expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, I'd like to know specifically. We invested years ago with Chefpreneur program. We'd like to know what you still offer us. And I think it'd be a great way for potential students to hear all the support that you continue to provide us.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. For those of you guys that don't know, Chef Josh was legitimately my second student ever in Chefpreneur. And you knew that, right, Chef?
Yeah. Beta student.
Yeah, he was literally one of my first 5. And so what lifetime access is really the program. First of all, I think I just sent you the most updated program. So when we make updates on that program, basically you continue to have lifetime access to those upgrades. We have now since kind of been putting our focus on what we call the accelerator program. It's the same there as well. So all the online training, when we add to it, you'll get access to that as you continue to go down. Lifetime access is pretty much, hey, you have access to that members area of those training videos that, again, we either revise or add to throughout the course of time. and it basically continues to escalate more so than ever now than even when I started. I mean, when I first started, like Josh said, I mean, he was beta. I had a program, but I didn't really have what I have now, to be honest. And he had the master class, which was the original, right, Chef? I remember I gave you access to that even after I kind of came out with that after the fact, because really you and me, I almost trained you one-on-one in a way. Then we kind of expanded to a better site, and now you have the most up-to-date Chefpreneur program. And yeah, basically it just allows you to plug in and get more information as we grow. Our accelerator as well is kind of designed because it is a little different. It's designed to go even deeper, but also again be constantly updated and added to, so that you are investing once and it's still reaping a reward. Does that kind of answer your question for you and everybody?
It sure does. And I really just wanted to thank you for expounding on that. And I believe the real value in the Chefpreneur program is that not only does your program grow, it's still accessible to me. And I think that's the real value that I'd like to share with potential students, right? is that it really keeps going with you. So I just wanted to thank you too for all you're doing, and I'm excited I got on the call and got the live show today.
That's very sweet of you, Chef. We really appreciate that, and it kind of brings a little tears in my eye, because again, you're like, I don't know if you know this, not that you didn't get your investment worth, but you were my very first paying student.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that or not, because I had Michelle Robolo.
Yeah.
Right. She was like beta. And I felt too uncomfortable to charge like the very first person, because I'm like, it's one person.
And it works for you, but you want to make sure it works for others.
And like Josh, I won't disclose how much he invested, but he got a hell of a deal, obviously, because I didn't even know I didn't know what to charge. I didn't know any of that. But Josh, I really appreciate that, man. And that's like, that is something that it's surreal to know that I'm talking to you this many years later, and what Chefpreneur has grown into, which is all glory to God. But it's just so cool to hear you. And by the way, I'm going to give you a big plug, Josh, as well. So his company is Northwest Personal Chef, basically services, and Northwest Services. And they're up in, like he said, the utmost part of Washington. He has sent me pictures in the past, Brock, on like where he's located. And I'm jealous, just to say the least. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's Chef. Isn't it gorgeous? I mean, it's just like, he sent me this picture. I don't remember if you sent me, I believe it was a picture, but it was so still. The water was so gorgeous. And I was like, are you, he's like, yeah, this is like my workspace office in the back. Like, I'm like, what? Like, it was just, he just lives in paradise. And honestly, it's so gorgeous. Cool. But
yeah, you know, it is beautiful here. It's super productive. We have, I live on a bay that produces some of the best oysters, some of the best clams.
Nice.
We have fresh salmon running through constantly. Fresh halibut just came in last week. It's just farmland, and it's a beautiful place to cook for people that come and visit. And I'm just very blessed to have such an abundance of product to work with.
And so let me test my memory. Place. Let me test my memory, because if I remember his niche, your niche is, I think what we decided your niche was when I coached you was really, I mean, you were telling me you wanted almost your entire business and menus to be ran by the farmers and what's in season, the fishermen. Like, his whole passion, Josh's passion, is like, he has so many direct. I mean, I remember, again, I don't know if my brain is, you know, you could tell me, hey, you're becoming an old man, you're forgetting. But I even remember the story you told me, I think about honey even. There was like a lady specifically you got your honey from. Yeah. And you were talking about, like, you knew fishermen, you knew, like, you were direct with people at the docks and really getting your hands on the best possible produce and product that you can find. which was kind of your whole game. Is that
Absolutely.
still the whole game?
That is, my mission is to celebrate the bounty of the Olympic Peninsula. That's where we
Love it.
live. And yeah, some of my most signature items are just like you said, there's a lavender farm that grows honey here. It's very nuanced, but a lavender semifreddo is on 50% of my menus, and
delicious.
I'm celebrating the producers.
That's awesome.
That's
and it's
awesome,
very short
man.
and sweet. You're celebrating the bounty of the Olympic
Yeah.
Peninsula.
Like if you were going to rent a beautiful home on that peninsula, on that, I mean, that's what I'd want to eat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to eat Red Robin.
Sounds so
I
tranquil.
wouldn't want to go to
very tranquil.
Ruth Chris and get some U.S. food steak. No offense to you, Ruth Chris, or U.S. foods even for that matter, but you know what I mean. But well, awesome, Chef. Thank you so much for joining us, brother. I appreciate your sentiment and your comment, and we love you, and we can't wait to continue to see your business, growing and thriving just as much as the bounty there is in the Olympian Peninsula.
Absolutely. And thank you too for all you do. And I'll look forward to your next show too.
Awesome, brother.
Man.
Take care, man.
Appreciate
God
you, Chef.
bless. That's awesome.
All right.
Oh, what a great
Take
guy.
care.
What a great guy. What a great guy.
You know what it makes me think of is, just to break that down really simply again, just lifetime access. How many of you have bought a book that you don't read for a while? Like, you've read it, you love it.
That's a good point.
You don't read it for a while, and then you come back to it and you're like, oh yeah, like
the Bible.
I didn't want to use that one.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to compare to this. There's nothing that can compare to the Bible.
Man. You go to Proverbs, but you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
is this a different book? I'm reading it differently today.
But a good book. That's what lifetime access is. Because listen, like, we all go through life. We all get into the motion of things. Sometimes we build up certain habits, or we learn things from people, and we start going on this path. And what we had learned and the foundations that we learned start to either erode a little bit or get added onto. Sometimes it's just great to get back and to re-establish and reaffirm what are those real hard truths that's going to help support and sustain my business. And that is what our program is. That's always what our focus is like, everything that we teach, we want it to be something that is withstanding.
Yeah.
Right. It reminds me of like marketing. Listen, there's all kinds of different kinds of ways that you can market, and there's different strategies, and guerrilla marketing, and email marketing, and text messaging, and business cards and billboards. There's all these things, but underneath all of that, marketing is still the same. It's been the same for centuries. Okay. Same thing with stories. The stories change, the movies change, but underneath of that all, it's still the same structure. A hero faces a problem, goes on their journey, meets a guide. That guide helps the hero, right, to overcome, or, in the movie line, there's always the arc, right? They overcome, and then they face a challenge and they get squashed. Then they overcome, they face a challenge, and depending on that, but at the end of it, they come out victorious, right? It's the same structure. So story is always the same. And it speaks to our psychology. Marketing's the same. This business, we built, the way that we educate and the way that you built your coaching program rests on foundational truths that never go out of style. Yeah. That's the beauty of it. It never goes out of style. So whenever you need to come back and kind of refresh yourself, that's the beauty of having that book. That's the beauty of having that lifetime access to a program. That's why we want to do that. Whereas other times, if you get into kind of like membership, it's like, well, unless you keep, like, you can't play.
Yeah.
Right. And we are here for your success. We're here for your business. We want to give you those things. Now, we have different programs that provide somewhat different things, but it's because the goal is different.
Yeah.
The goal is different with Accelerator than it is with the coaching program, right? The coaching program provides a certain, those foundations to really get everything solid, and it'll grow you, right? An Accelerator then but it's live coaching, right? So there's different purposes and different outcomes for that.
Lifetime access to live coaching, that might be a little different, a little difficult. We haven't got there yet, but we do have lifetime access on all of our online training, like all the training that we put out, which is pretty much.
But Josh is spot on with what we have with Chefpreneur, is that we want
we
you
want
to grow, and then
yeah.
we're growing
to grow with you.
you.
Yes.
So
100%.
every year we're adding on, and every year it's like, okay, like here's that next level, right? If you need lifetime coaching and you want to continue that, like our company is there to grow, to build the processes and the system to manage that. Because imagine Chef Andres is one guy,
Yes.
but out there are thousands of chefs. And so it gets difficult. So we have actually plans and a vision in place that's like, how do we make this all possible? And how do we still maintain that same level of success and results for our students without, while growing, without compromising it?
Yep.
And that's, I mean, that's our heart. That's everything.
Well, basically what's going to happen is there's going to be chefpreneurs are going to surpass us and surpass me specifically in my business, which is what I want.
Yep.
And want to help me coach others. And this movement is a movement, and it's more than just me and you. It's all of us together, like we say all the time. And it really is. It's exciting. It's really, I mean, it really gets me. I'm not going to cry because I'm not there yet, but it is. If I would meditate a few more minutes on it, I probably would. But to again hear Chef Josh come on to where Chefpreneur is now. I mean, I remember doing my first webinar just trying to help people, and Travis Barrick showed up.
Yeah,
actually, and he showed up late. And when I was talking, I started spitting out fake names just to not embarrass myself that no one was on. That's how sad it was. But that's true, full transparency to everybody now. That doesn't happen anymore, thank God. Right?
No,
but you have to start somewhere.
people
Again, I had to invest, learn. But in my personal chef business, the same. I had to invest in myself and learn certain skill sets. We invested in the story brand. We invested in different things that really got us to see certain things. And so, man, what a great show today. I'm really glad that, I just feel like really glad that I've been able, we were able to talk about this today. And so again, if you guys are struggling with just where you are in your business, maybe you haven't invested yet or whatever, but just start looking at investing differently. Yeah. Start looking at what is good and best for you, skills that you can learn, time you can cut out, shortcuts you can take to get help that you need. Life is too short to do it alone. It's too hard to do it alone. Business is too hard to do alone. I don't know what I'd do without this guy, to be honest. I'd be even more of a wreck sometimes, but my spouse, everything, Danielle, my wife is just so supportive and deals with all of our entrepreneur craziness. And but we love you guys.
I want to leave them with one more nugget for you guys, and I hope it's a word of encouragement and inspiration. You guys get on the phone or get in the chats and you thank us for things, which, trust me, like it warms us up so much, and we're just so blessed to be doing this. But you guys are thanking us for that. We're here because we've made investments. So your thankfulness to us, any gratitude that you have, if you've worked with us, you've been with us, if you've received something from us, is because we've made investments years ago. And we've went through a lot of pain and sacrifice and things like that. Okay. But I'm not done with this message. That's the reason why you need to make those investments now, because somebody out there needs you. They need you making those investments so that when that time comes, they're going to be grateful that you made those investments, because you're going to end up being there for them. So that message is about you. Okay. And we're all doing that, but make those investments in yourself so that that person who needs you in the future, they'll get what you have.
It's good
to provide for them.
That's good.
So I just want to leave you guys with that, because it's really encouraging. It's inspiring. We're all chefpreneurs. We're risk takers, big time. No pain, no gain. So
no pain.
That's it.
No gain.
Investing. That's investing. Investing 101.
I love it. Well, again, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us on the show today. Thank you guys for, again, all your support. We love you guys. Spread this show. Spread the Chefpreneur movement. We were talking about investing today. We know we have programs. Yes, you can always book a call with us about those, but we're actually just here to serve you as well in every capacity. And yes, we know our programs serve you the best, but we love this show. We want just to, even if you're able to inspire somebody with just sharing the show with them, getting them to be part of our Facebook group. You can head over to the Chefpreneur Movement on Facebook, just search that, find our group, join it. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications. Make sure you like the video, all the above. Share it with anybody that you know that's in this industry. We literally want to help as many chefs and cooks see that there's a different opportunity that's out there for them to do their own thing, to be their own boss, to be more fulfilled, to be able to help them help people in services, whether it's meal preps, whether it's, celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, whatever the case may be, bringing happiness, joy, health, all that to your clients, as Brock said. That's what we're all about. So we love you guys. We really appreciate you with all your support. Thank you guys for always encouraging us. And again, we're just very honored to be in front of you guys, and we love you. So tune in every single Wednesday. Mark your calendars, put it on your calendar, put a timer to go off 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This show goes off every single week. That means that is 4 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Mark your calendars. Come here, join us on YouTube Wednesday. We love you. Be blessed. Don't stress. We'll see you guys next week.
Cheers.
Take care.